we are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is P-Car Talk. All right, welcome to another episode of P-Car Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aaron.
Special guest today, Andy Bizup, Adam Kern.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for hosting this great event. We're up in Chicago because they hosted such a great event. Checked it out, Chicago. We're currently at Midwest Performance Cars.
As you can see,
in the mix, right? Like where all the business gets done. So we're excited to have you guys on the show.
Well, thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. So clearly we're up here because you guys put on a great event. Checked it out, Chicago, and draw a lot of people from a lot of areas,
everywhere.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, 160 plus-ish cars around that. Is that about right, guys?
It was It was closer to 190. Then
190.
you have all those.
Nice.
Okay.
We had a lot of
yeah.
gate crashers too. That I mean, we took some cash from some people in the morning and said, hey, you're not registered, but okay, cough it up because we're a nonprofit and we're not made of money. But
exactly.
Some probably
You
got it for free
procrastinators.
too,
you should just.
Yeah.
Shit or get off the
Johnny
pot.
come lately.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Hey, this looks like it's going to be a great show. Now I'll go.
Oh wow, you guys are rolling deep. Okay, I'm gonna pop in.
And the
Day
weather's excellent, so okay, I'll get my ass out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was another thing.
I want to say
3 days
that
of
I
huge
went.
rain, and then yesterday was picture perfect.
Yep.
You know, so it got all the car.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So the huge event, right? It was second time it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Check 2019 or check 19. That's our hashtag.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy that you've gone
The growth.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say you've gone a step above. I mean, you probably, let's say if it was step 1, probably went to level 5.
That's what I was
with
hearing,
the
too.
The
I was
second,
hearing from
and
several
that
people.
was the consensus with just the people that attended the event.
Yeah, we heard great feedback. I mean, I've several times from several people I heard, get ready because there's like a wave coming.
Yeah.
With the way this event went.
And last year was kind of like a glorified Cars and Coffee almost, 70 cars. I mean, we had a great time, don't get me wrong. But to go from 0 to 100 like we did, and now it's truly a happening, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, of course.
Happening.
I think that everybody who was kind of half pregnant on the idea of maybe coming or not coming, shame on you guys for not coming, because you guys really missed an outstanding event in the Midwest, because this area needed something like this, and everybody who drew in from local states and everyone else was so thankful to have something like this, kind of centralized. It's in a cool urban area to have. The backdrops are outstanding.
Phenomenal.
The venue was outstanding. I couldn't thank you guys enough for putting in the work, because everybody who's listening that maybe doesn't know, this thing just doesn't happen.
Not
I mean,
at
there's
all.
months and months and countless hours of planning and work. It goes behind the scenes and
High stress.
absolutely.
And having it in an urban setting really adds a lot to layers
Complexity.
of complication. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, how many cars do we tow, quote unquote tow?
Right. Well, the
Yeah,
city,
exactly.
and actually, I want to call out the city of Chicago. They did a fantastic job. The tow truck, the streets and sand, the police commander, and the local alderman were all really cooperative and really helpful with everything. So just kudos to them.
And outstanding on that too, for you guys wanting to have an event and then helping support that on the city side. And that's what, when you hear good stories, a lot of people always talk bad stories about city municipalities or something like that.
Yeah.
But when something like this happens, it really shines, and it should be brought to attention. So I'm glad you said that.
We took over a whole block. I mean, that's no joke.
In
right?
Chicago.
Yeah, it's downtown.
This isn't like suburban nowhere where there's no traffic.
Right.
The
This
mall.
is 3 blocks from Google headquarters, 5 blocks from McDonald's
Exactly.
headquarters. Yeah. It's like the
It's a
hottest neighborhood in the city.
busy area that
Yeah.
you guys were able to get the city behind you to give you the area that you needed and to
Yeah.
support that. That's huge.
Yeah.
And like I told some people, I'm like, well, the same location won't be an option next year because it's probably going to be in development to be some giant high rise already. You know. what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
The same-
Unfortunately.
and the
Yeah.
same scenario was with our location last year. That's going to be this giant hotel.
Yeah.
You keep doing events, they keep
wild.
building buildings.
Right, so we're
that's
going to
cool.
have
Just let us-
developers with great spots who want us to come
Yeah.
There you
because
go.
next year they're going to have a multi-million-dollar development.
That sounds like
Exactly.
sponsorship
Yeah.
to me.
It's the
Right.
precursor to
Yeah.
the development
to
of
the
the
big
property,
payoff.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just follow us. We know where to go.
Yeah, outstanding. So let's talk a little bit about how this show came about, what it's about, because I think it's a great story and everybody needs to hear it. And I cannot tell it as well as you are because you're so close to it, Adam. So, like,
Yeah.
you have the floor and, like, let's hear that story.
So it really starts with this community, right? Because you guys are here. We met at DRT, and you guys were at Luft 6 this past year, and so for us it starts with going to Luft 4 and meeting everybody out there, and then so I came back from it, and you're looking at your Instagram feed, and there's this guy Karsten Aufgebauer, who I knew of. I didn't know him at the time, but he his Outlaw build, which is here in the shop right now, was kind of internet famous. And he made a comment on someone's post about how we need a Chicago Outlaw event. And actually, not too long ago, I was like, I got to find that goddamn post, right? And I'm like, where's this spark at? Where could it be? And I'm like, you know what? I think it's probably Andrew Florin. So everyone out there probably knows Porsches, right? And so I'm looking at his posts along the timeline of Luft 4, and I couldn't find it. So maybe it was Andrew, maybe it wasn't, but whatever. Didn't get to find it. So that whole summer of 2017, we're at PCA events, our local region, talking to Karsten, getting to know him, and then one Sunday after another event, I'm like, you said something about the Chicago Outlaw event. I don't have an air-cooled car. Kind of do now, almost. So
that's another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned for episode 2 on that.
Right. So I just say to him, I'm like, man, I want to support this event, volunteer, whatever, or let's just do it. And he was right on. He's like, cool, I don't care. We both said, I don't care how many cars we got. The hurdle is doing the first one. So that lingered a while. We talked about it. Some more people came on board. The third man after that would be John Westra. Then we wanted to set up meetings, and we got past the holidays, and so I sent out an email, or actually a Facebook message to Karsten, like, hey, let's after Christmas is over, let's get together, you, me, and John, and we'll talk. That message never got a response. So then I see on his page that he was gone. And I had got a message from him for Christmas, just wishing me, happy holidays, and did the same to him and everything.
Yeah.
So that was that. He was no longer with us, right? Which is you're right. And so then I gotta go to this guy. So there's a winter swap meet, and we met there. You had a customer there, I think, with a 964, that navy blue one or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we're trying to do this this Porsche show event in the city. And you were like, I'm all in. Let me know. Here's my card. And a very valuable asset since then.
Yeah.
And then, you go on, and there's the 3 of us now, and we pick up more guys. More people want to get involved. And John Neurater, who's a very big Porsche guy and owns a brewery, he gave us the location for our first event, and
nice.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a rest is history kind of deal, right?
It kind of snowballs, right?
Yeah,
it does.
So once you start to spearhead it, you start to spearhead it, and everybody kind of says, "All right, they're not talking, they're doing."
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it really started out of it really grassroots. It wasn't like, hey, let's do something to, we can create a show and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
We were like, hey, let's do this, get together. And then when we realized, hey, there's going to be costs involved, and we're going to start charging money, let's do it as a charitable. Let's do it as a, completely raise some money for good causes.
And the other thing I have to say, too, so during that winter, we're workshopping names, and a lot of proposals for names were German words, and I'm like, we love Luft, but they got a lot of imitators. How many LUFT things are out there on Instagram and everything?
Good point.
So I'm like, I don't care. No German names whatsoever, freaking ever, right? And then it's just like, well, what if we just checked it out? That's Karsten's handle on Instagram. And I'm like, it might take some explaining.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds pretty freaking cool, right?
What a great way to honor a friend, too,
really
right?
Cool.
Yeah.
And there is a story behind that. So it was Claudia, his widow. It was their little tongue-in-cheek thing. So Karsten liked to go to Cars and Coffees and check out cars. So he'd tell her, I'm going to check it out, some cars. You know, he didn't really have much of an accent, but he was from Hamburg, Germany.
Yeah.
And that's just the way he said it with her. And he said it with a wink and a smile to her every Sunday, like probably getting his hall pass to go do his thing.
Exactly.
You know, and then Instagram happened for him, and that's the way he made his handle, and we're thankful for that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, you know, and honoring him.
Exactly. What a great story, you know, born out of a tragedy, essentially, and a great way to honor a person like an enthusiast. And good for you guys for doing that. Super cool. Thank you for sharing that story. That's a good story.
And let me add too, he did have a water pumper, so we're not
no.
by including the whole brand, which is essentially part of our ethos. You know, we want the SUVs and the 4-doors. We want the 924s. We had a lot of 914s. We want everything.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way, like, because that's what we kind of want to do, like, with the podcast. It's not like we're just air-cooled. Like, it's one of those things where we talked about this offline a lot. Yeah. Break down the barriers. If you're a 356 guy or you're a Boxster guy, it doesn't matter. We're all Porsche guys.
It turns out it's all fun.
At the macro level.
Or even a 914 guy.
Exactly.
And rather newly minted.
And I think we personalize or even subjectively categorize people and say, oh, well, you're a 964 guy. Well, no, I'm really just a Porsche guy.
I just happen to own a 964.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. So I think that's. But what a great thing, and I want to circle back. It probably Karsten was probably looking over since you guys had so much rain, and then how beautiful yesterday was, and then. Yeah. Like, for everybody like who doesn't know, we're not from Chicago, but Andy made a good point. He's like, if you don't like the weather, just hang out for a little bit. As this morning, Sunday morning, it's a little dreary and windy out. But yesterday there wasn't like a cloud in the sky.
It was perfect. I was looking for the last 10 days. I've been looking at the weather forecast first thing on my phone every morning. See, I'm the optimist. I looked at it and I was like, all right, it's still night, you know. And we had 3 days of huge rain. There's flooding like all over the city. And then Saturday was perfect. And then I wake up this morning. And it's gray and overcast. Yeah. And this would have kept a lot of car guys in their garage. Yeah, exactly. Right? So, we had like divine intervention.
I agree.
It was cool.
Friday, on my list of many things to do leading up to this event, you know, one of them I neglected was washing the car. And I did it in the rain at 6 a.m. Friday morning, but whatever. Neighbors think I'm crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my neighbors think the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I come home for the event and I'm washing the car and it's raining outside and they're like, it's raining on your car. What are you doing, clown?
What they really don't realize is you put it in the garage and wipe it down and you're golden.
Exactly.
My neighbor's a Ferrari guy, and all I know is that he just looks enviously at my driveway as I'm driving different Porsches home every day.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the sponsors and some of the people who attended the event, right? So you guys had quite a few good sponsors, I would say. So let's talk about them for a minute.
So first of all, going back to last year, I got to give props to Continental Tire.
Okay.
You know, they're a legit company, right? And they lended us their support when we were just a crazy idea, and you know, they hooked up our charity that year, the 100 Club, with a nice check and everything. And
I think that says a lot about a big time manufacturer that's willing to take a risk on something. Like you said, you had no history, no background, and you're basically just saying, we're hoping this thing obviously becomes a big thing, but we don't know.
We did have a connection with Brian, who's the head of their marketing, and him and our buddy Doug, they're tight. So
well, it helps when you have a warm lead. It does.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. We install a lot of Connie tires here, so
that helps too.
Feeds in.
Yeah.
And then so Rich, you know, Rocks Motorsports in New Jersey, the builder of Karsten's car, you know, he was with us from last year and lended his support this year, and then got his customer, Mr. John Fudge, to ship out on his own dime the Chicago Outlaw.
John's cool.
Yeah, John's a very cool dude.
You know, I really wanted to surprise everybody and not announce that it was coming. And what do you think? Were they?
Oh, people are blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know,
a lot of talk about it.
God bless her, Claudia. You know, it was very tough for her to see the car. You know?
Yeah.
But
and she spoke on the Friday night event too, and she was a trooper. She made it through that.
Yeah.
And I know that probably wasn't easy for her.
Sure.
But I think maybe you know, I'm just speaking. I don't know her personally, but just from like experiences, to see the support behind it too, maybe gave her strength as well. Seeing like how many people are like, wow.
How many people
this is
care about it to turn around?
you know, like this event and him, and this is really cool that this is in his memory.
And that's the amazing thing about this brand, about the Porsche brand, the way it connects people.
I agree.
I mean, cars are great, but they're cars, all of them. But I don't. There's not another brand that really brings people together and creates the kind of relationships that I see from that Porsche does.
Yeah.
I mean, just the people that were at the show yesterday. Rob, from 964 page.
Yeah.
I met that guy because of Porsche.
Exactly. And he's in from London.
And
right?
he's in from London.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the other sponsor, Eurosport, Midwest Eurosport, they brought the whole race trailer out, right?
Yeah.
Those are some cool cars.
I mean, that
brought their race cars out. That was really
that
cool.
totally happened organically once they got on board, and like we'll dedicate Kinsey and we'll call it Racers Row, and dedicated track cars.
That's
and I'm
cool.
really thinking we need to hype that up and go forward and double down on that for next year, because I mean
that's a good idea.
Race cars are cool.
Seeing a race car come off a trailer in the middle of the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have some really cool cars.
They had a tribute hybrid GT3.
Yeah.
I don't want to rat anybody out, but John had his race car last year, and post-event, we're hanging out, and not many cars left. But we put it on the street. He drove on the street, went through a stop sign or a stoplight, came around the corner, and that was wild. Like, shit, I hope we don't get busted. Like, this is really cool. Your loud-ass car, GT5 class or whatever he's in, That is neat.
And then, Tim Olson, he was our first... our first top-level sponsor for this year to come on board.
Yeah.
So he was the first guy to step off the base.
Yeah.
All kudos to him.
Yeah. Let's talk about him for a second, because he's an interesting guy and does some great builds, and I feel he deserves some time to talk about.
Right.
So, you guys know a little bit more about him. Can you elaborate a little bit about what he does and the kind of builds he has and stuff like that?
So Tim, he has a shop out in the near suburbs. He actually lives like 5 blocks away from me, which I didn't even know until I met him.
Okay.
Right? So that was really cool. But then I love the fact that, like yesterday, not only did he bring his latest commission build, that 964 in that custom purple, and have it wasn't finished, so they put it on a rolling rack to display the process of building it and the insides of that. I mean, you know how much confidence you have to have in your build,
of course,
to show the exposed backbone, right? And it is meticulous. It's unbelievable. But then he also brought the first car he ever did, which was a 79 930.
Yeah.
And he and I were walking around, and he was like, "Oh, I look at this car and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this," because it was the first car, right?
Yeah.
We all get better as we do things.
It's true.
As
that takes a lot.
Great artist.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of. That takes a lot of balls to do that. And
you have to be have humility to do that, to know and be humble about it.
But it's still a 930, and it's still a cool car.
It is very cool.
Let's be real.
Yeah, it is.
And he had the
Super
before
cool.
and after pics too.
Yeah.
So, he did do unbelievable work on it. But just a great guy who really deserves a higher profile and deserves
super
some
high-end builds,
attention.
right?
Super high end.
The other thing too is he's the JRZ distributor, and his guy Brian Heiss is,
which is a big deal.
Yeah, he works with 311 RS and setting up their cars. We all know what Lee did 2 weeks ago at Road America.
Exactly.
So totally the real deal, right?
Yeah, if you guys don't know, JRZ is basically race suspension. The ones that are listening, because we have some people that maybe not know what JRZ is. That's a big deal.
It's up in Europe, and they're good stuff.
Yeah, very, very good stuff.
Yeah.
Takes big checks to
and elaborate just from seeing his cars in person, the 964 Fashion Gray car, the Smyrna Gray car that he had, and the backdate that you said that you mentioned that's kind of in process of getting complete. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And his taste level is so great, because it's beyond just we're just going to redo a car, or the kind of standard the outlaw the outlaw tail lights and stuff.
Exactly.
He's
don't miss anything.
He's extremely creative and really meticulous with CNC machine parts, custom designs.
Yep.
But it's not pimp my ride stuff either, right?
No,
it's
not
super
at all.
tasteful.
Yeah, it's very motorsport driven.
Yeah.
It's like on the Fashion Gray car, what stood out to me, which I thought was really cool, one of the touches I saw on the wheels, it had that like dimple bronze matte finish on the wheels. That was so cool.
Right.
Just little stuff like that, like you said.
Yeah.
Like if you know what you're looking for and you start to see things and you start to I spent a lot of time in that area looking at those cars because I was just blown away about
Yeah.
his craftsmanship.
Right.
The black
He-
993 too, that they extended the flares, like
Yeah.
it looks factory, right?
It
Right.
does. You're right. You couldn't tell. And there was a lot of people that couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
In that green Outlaw build, he explained to me just the process of fabricating the air cleaner cover, that stainless steel, brass,
that was
and
so
bronze air cleaner cover.
Gorgeous.
And the process of doing that, and he was fixing some other guy's build.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
he
Which
saw
is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
the owner's a newbie to Chicago. I think he transplanted from the West Coast.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to do because you're basically you're chasing the unknown.
what do I got? Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Tim can't disclose. He can't disclose it and can't disclose the name, but he cares for a major collector's cars.
Good for him.
Many of them.
Yeah.
And I would imagine what better guy to do it because
Yeah.
obviously he's very meticulous about what he does.
Yeah.
And he cares about his name being on something. You can see that
Totally.
in his work.
Yeah. So great guy,
Yeah.
great cars.
And what an asset for you guys to have somebody like that so close
Yeah.
by too.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So Bosch Car Service, and you have a relationship with them. They came and hooked us up too,
Yeah.
sponsored us.
Yeah, we're a Bosch service shop. Both of my locations are Bosch shops. And a great company. And they were last ones in. They came in at the 11th hour. They're like, hey, we want to be a part of this. We don't want anything from you guys. We want to support it. And we're here next year, too. So,
Awesome.
yeah, great, really great people. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the last one would be Mancuso Auto Arts,
Yeah.
which is another one you're very well connected with.
Yep.
Yeah.
They painted they actually did the paint on the paint and body on the blue car
Okay.
behind us. Yeah, we have a really good relationship with those guys.
The
and-
Mancuso family is deep in the whole car
Yeah.
culture here.
Yeah, they're a little involved in cars.
Multi-generation.
Just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Even they sell the prancing horse too,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Whatever
we
that
won't
is.
we won't be upset at him for that.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they've done a couple of personal cars of mine, and they're also customer cars, and they're just great work. So
I think it just shows too how well everybody wants to get involved in the community of what you're doing, just being in the second year of it. And just to mention all of those sponsors you've already mentioned, those are a lot of heavy hitters that want to get involved. So kudos to you guys for putting on such a good event, because those type of people wouldn't want to get involved, obviously, if it wasn't a good representation. And clearly it is.
well, one of the things I would say, and this is thanks to Adam, this is his end of it, is there aren't very many events like this where you're bringing in multimedia art and the cars and the people and these different concepts, and he's the creative guy of this.
Well, and the other thing too is so Mac Blackout did that 8x8 canvas yesterday,
Giant canvas.
and I tried to get with him last year. Like, could you maybe do a logo or a T-shirt design? He's like, well, I'm kind of beyond that, and I like to paint live. That's where the work is for me.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool. Maybe we'll be fortunate enough to have a sponsor to pick that up next year. And we did. And we had the sponsor, Porsche Cars North America,
Yeah.
furnished Mac to us,
That's
for
pretty
6
cool.
hours of work, right?
It's so awesome.
And, I mean, they took care of us with some other things. Of course, sending Mr. Ray Schaefer on
Yes.
Friday night to
Yeah.
speak to our charity reception, which we raised over $7,000 with that event for Bernie's Book Bank.
Exactly. Outstanding.
And how good was Chris talking about his passion for reading,
Absolutely.
let alone a cars, right?
Absolutely. And
I
I
mean-
think that's another good thing. I'm glad you brought that up to highlight that you're giving back to the community, which is huge for
Right.
what we do, instead of saying, oh, this is us. It's
Yeah.
like, what can we give back?
Yeah.
We want to give as much back as we can. We want to make a positive impact on whoever we can in our area, and that's great.
Well, it smooths the path of actually getting the event set up, because when I can go to the city and say, look, it's not just a bunch of guys with Porsches getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
And-
smoking
and-
cigars and drinking bourbons and just
Exactly.
like talking
Right.
about how
Right.
great we are.
Right.
Right.
We're trying to do something good and give back to
Exactly.
the community.
Yeah, and we had this dilemma, workshopping this back and forth over the offseason. You cannot be named after a guy, who'd honor his legacy and be a for-profit entity.
Good point, right?
That would be
That's
total
blasphemous.
crap,
Yeah, blasphemous
Yeah.
to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
And so we're involved in this Porsche community, and shout out to the Octoon Craft guys, especially Tony and Brian. And they're like, if you guys are ever for profit, you're fucking dicks, and we're out of here.
This is a podcast, right? This is not over-the-air radio, right?
No.
It's not going to get bleeped out.
No, you're getting it all.
I know.
We
Like,
keep it
it's the
real.
rawness,
We
yeah.
keep it real. This is Chicago, man.
Exactly. There's no cutting of anything. Anything goes. It's
Let me
what it
say,
is.
we're on the west side, man. This ain't
We are on the-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wild Wild West Side.
Yeah, you're a Cubs fan, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's. I will say
you.
that is my goal, man. To have checked it out on the south side,
There you go.
and the near south side is becoming a happening place too. You know, that's where
Mhm.
all the cool
I
kids
think
are.
I think
located,
you,
you know,
the fact that you're a doer by
You'll get there.
personality, you'll
Mhm.
have it exactly where you want to have it at. It may take a couple years, but you'll have
Right.
it exactly where you already have the momentum behind you.
And in the city, like there was talk last night. Checked it out as a destination. You know, it's maybe it's tucked away somewhere cool, a little off the beaten path. You know, but like our friends Tim and Molly of Gearhead Workspace said yesterday, you know, you want to go there. You have a ticket or whatever. You know, we did tickets,
Mhm.
free tickets, I should say.
Yeah.
And you know, you're seeking it out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're not stumbling upon this or laissez-faire about it. You
Yeah.
know?
I had so many people because I walked around the show just doing a live feed for all the people that were missed out, and I had so many messages from people saying, "Oh, I should have won." And I kind of gave them a little stern on the backside, and I was
Yeah,
like,
you should have.
it's not like they were hiding the event. They
Right.
told people about it, so shoulda, woulda, coulda. Be a doer.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually had a preview event in July where we were just like,
Mhm.
just to introduce,
Hang
hey,
out.
this is the location, this is get together.
Yeah.
You know, this is what's going to be coming, you know, a little teaser.
Yeah.
And we
So-
dedicated that to all the guys and gals, Pam
Mhm.
Brundage, who were down with us last year, you know,
Yeah.
the 70 cars, and we wanted to give them a little hat tip,
That's
right?
cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
come on
That's-
out and, you know.
Yeah, it's exciting too to be so close with you guys, even though we just met. Like we've talked offline all about this, and you've touched on it with the Porsche community. It really is a real thing. It's not BS. It goes back to we didn't know you guys in February, but I sent both of you guys a message saying, "Here's the address to the house. You guys are in the area. We don't know you. Come by
Right.
and have a beer and hang
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it was
You're
cool.
Porsche guys. That's all
Right.
we need to know."
Yeah.
And you guys came by and you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
beers and we all hung out and we've all become great friends since
Right,
then.
right.
And it doesn't even matter the duration. You know, we're going to be lifelong friends, but just because we've been friends for less than a year doesn't mean that I feel like we've known each
Yeah.
other a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we got
When-
a lot of similar touchstones,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And speaking
And-
of DRT and people reaching out, I mean, we got a nice message yesterday from Al from
Oh, yeah.
Old Speed,
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah,
DRT
Nice.
himself.
So Al Rodriguez from DRT,
Uh-huh.
he was planning on bringing his car up here. It wasn't finished. It got finished supposedly on, I think he said on Wednesday. So
Okay.
he didn't have time to ship it.
Yeah.
But he was going to ship the car up here and then drive it to North Carolina.
Oh, for the Targa.
For Targa, yeah. So didn't make it, but during the event, he would commented, sent me a couple of messages. He was like, "Oh my gosh, it looks," because he was seeing the feed.
Yeah.
He's like, "It looks great." You know, hashtag boom. You guys really pulled it off.
That's really cool.
It is really cool, and I love Al. I mean, Al. I met so many people just from going to DRT 3 years ago, and then going every subsequent year.
Yeah.
And he is such a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Alvarado is such a genuine person, and he really, really loves the community. And it just goes back to that genuine thing. In most industries, you would think it would be competition or
Yep.
something, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you guys talked a lot about how much help he lended it with his experience.
These guys were tired of me saying, "Well, this is how Al did
He
DRT
does.
in
Yeah.
year 2, right?" Because I tapped Al I was like, "Hey, when you were in here, what'd you do? How'd you do this? What's the best way?" And
Yeah.
he was really forthcoming with advice, really generous. And I'd go to these guys and I go, "Well, DRT
Yeah.
did it this
Yeah.
way."
Why
you know.
reinvent the wheel?
Right,
Well, yeah.
right, totally.
A
Yeah.
wise man uses prior knowledge to, close that gap.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you guys did. You could definitely see. I didn't come to the first event, but everybody who did go to the first event and talked to us and came up to us and were like, it was great, the first one, but
Yeah,
this one
levels.
you can't even compare what
Yeah.
this was to that.
Yeah.
It looks like a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just what an amazing thing, and an amazing city too.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really,
kind of
really
cool.
cool.
I think that's another draw you guys have. Maybe a lot of people
Sure.
didn't really think of it, but I was like, this is going to be really cool. It's going to
It
be
is
in the city,
It
and
is the foundation of who we are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's in our name.
Yeah.
checked it out, Chicago.
And I love that that's in your name too.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
it says you're repping your city. That's really cool
Right.
too.
Yeah, it's always going to be an urban event.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we had talked about was our when we first met, Adam and I, our frustration with all these events are out in the burbs.
Yes.
Right. So if you live in the
Right.
city, you got to drive a long way. If you live in another suburb, it's they're great, but
Right.
that's the only thing there.
Mm-hmm.
So to actually have an event like this that's centrally located, you've got great views of the skyline. It's a little grittier. It's
But it
like-
creates
makes
a
it
great
better.
backdrop.
Yeah.
And
And
doing Saturday is crucial too, because
Yeah.
you're more relaxed. You're not worried about going to work on Monday, and we don't shut down at 11 a.m. or whatever,
Yeah.
like some other things, We
Absolutely.
extend to 3 o'clock.
And I think and it's well thought out in the sense of that too, because if people are coming into town, which a lot of people did, it gave them opportunities the day before and the day after to do
Yeah.
things within the city. As one of our good friends that came with us, Mel, like he's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
he's going to
He
a
loved
Cubs
it.
game.
He's at a Cubs
Yeah,
game
yeah,
right now.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a dual purpose trip, right?
Yeah.
So you go hang out with some friends. So that's another thing too. You can bring the other half or whoever your significant other is and see the city as well,
Yep.
and come to the show and walk and go get a good bite to eat at a
Yeah.
great restaurant, and,
Right.
and go
Well-
grab a beer at a great place,
Well-
and it's all in walking distance of the show.
Think about our Cali people too. Rhea Casey coming in town, Pop Tart, right? That's her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's getting her money's where she's doing a lot in the city, and seeing one of her, doing some business or whatever she's got
Absolutely.
going on.
Yeah.
Same thing with Drew from Cool
Yeah.
Collective.
Right.
He was able to dual purpose his trip. He's
Shoot some cars.
shoot some cars with some people, hang out. And,
Right.
Oh
So-
well, he worked with Porsche Patrick Rousey, and who's
Mhm.
brought 2 cars from Michigan, and that guy is just solid, man. He's outstanding. Him and his son drove the 993 and then their 32 up, you
Yeah.
know, and they shot some photos with one of our guys before they came, because we are putting out a zine post event, and we doing a feature about where the Checked It Out folks come from. We
Mhm.
got the Wisconsin, we got Jay Sotil coming in number 5, right?
Yeah.
901 number 5.
Yep.
We can't believe we got this far. We haven't
I
talked
know,
about
I know,
Mr.
right?
Sotil, right?
Unbelievable.
So everyone can grab that zine once we drop it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great, and also, like you said, PCNA supporting the event that shows a
giant.
lot of power right there
Yeah.
of
That
what
was-
they think of what your show is.
Yeah, that was
So-
kind of humbling that when they came in to support it.
Exactly.
It was
Right.
like, ooh, wow. We're,
and exactly,
this
You
is
know how
for-
we made
this is really for real now.
exactly right.
And let me tell you, about the future and how we made that connection. They hosted a Mission E, now Taycan event over
Uh-huh.
winter. We met Adam Noderer and PCNA Marketing, and he knew about us, and he's like, well, here's my card. Let's talk. How can we help?
That's outstanding.
Solid, right?
Yeah.
And goes back to Big Brother trying to get involved in these events. So that's huge to show that support and to know that there's a whole market of enthusiasts that do this and get together. And instead of, shying away from it, they're embracing it. So
Yeah.
kudos
But
for Porsche
also
for doing
at the
that.
same time, they're cognizant not to put their stamp all over it.
Good point.
Yeah.
They
Good
don't
point.
want
That is-
yeah,
yeah.
they,
It
they
does
don't want
with being
yeah.
corporate.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want to diminish your event by
Right.
saying it's like theirs,
Yeah.
but they're still
Right.
involved, which is
Right.
I think it's a tricky game to play.
Fine
Yeah, for
line.
sure.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But-
and I think it's something that Porsche, as a brand, has like deftly mastered. I mean, Porsche could be a topic for like MBA thesis
Good.
for a
Yeah,
while.
absolutely.
The way they've managed this brand to be for people that have such passionate connections
A
to
large
it.
scale but small community
Abs-
feel.
It's amazing. It really is.
It is,
And
and
I there's no other car brand that is
No.
like this.
No.
It
And
is
I-
an enthusiast brand,
For sure. I also want to, before we lose off at this topic, call out Napleton Porsche.
Yeah, Westmont
Yes.
Porsche.
Yeah, they were really
The local.
really great guys.
Classic shop.
You know,
Yeah.
The
I'm an
classic
independent shop. Everybody thinks we hate the dealers and
Yeah.
they hate us. I mean, I love these guys. They really stepped up. They had great people representing. They brought some unbelievable. They brought a 992.
Yes.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
outstanding.
Right?
Yep.
And a Sport Turismo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gorgeous
Badass.
cars. Yeah, gorgeous
so,
cars.
Just want to cite those guys.
Absolutely.
too. And they're a Porsche Classic dealer, so
Yeah,
it totally
that's huge.
made sense.
That's
right?
huge. And people that don't know, not everybody gets to be that. Like you have
No,
to be
there's
hand
only a
selected.
few.
Only 11
Right.
right now,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Ray alluded to there's a few more in the pipeline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you definitely have to be vetted to be one of those. So that says a lot about them as a dealership
Yeah.
that they're been selected to do that and
Yeah.
what kind of people they are. So they have a foot in the future and a foot in the past, which is very rare for dealerships because most dealerships are just about pushing new inventory.
Right.
So
And I was actually talking to one of the main brand ambassador guys from the dealership yesterday, and we had met for the first time, and I expressed to him, hey, you know, I really like to have a strong relationship with a dealer, and he was like, I'm so happy to hear that. And then,
Yeah,
and then the other
exactly.
thing I said, I want to have a place where I can send my customers who want to buy a new Porsche. Hey,
Yes.
go talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, my wife really wants a Porsche. So
there, that helps too.
I'm gonna be talking
exactly.
to him soon. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always good to have a POC at a local dealer
For sure.
or multiple local dealers that you trust and that support you because there is a good friendship and a bond that happens there because you have an event like this
Yeah.
and then they get behind it as well.
Yeah.
It's a value for value. It helps them, it helps you.
For
It's
sure.
nice.
And it's
So,
good for everybody who owns a Porsche,
Mhm.
right? They
They
need
had-
us and we need them.
Yep.
They had a little drive-in with their customers I seen on their feed. So they met up at the crack of dawn or whatever. And,
Oh, nice.
I think it was 10 cars or roughly, and they
Uh-huh.
caravan down to
Yeah.
That's really
our
cool.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Right,
So
doing it
that-
right.
yeah, you guys are the destination. They got together to come to your
Yeah.
thing. So that's really, really
And
cool.
they were one of the last ones to leave. A few of their guys, they were
Yeah.
hanging out with us,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
They had a
absolutely.
good time.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can I say about the event? It was super, super awesome.
Yeah, I liked how eclectic everything was. There wasn't anything that was the same. There wasn't a bunch of stock cars there.
Right.
Everybody had their own flair on every piece of every car you saw.
And Dan Kubrick, who is
Yeah.
he's one of our board members and checked it out. He's an architect, and he did this layout design, and then you and Dan like placed the cars, so it wasn't like GT3 RS, GT3 RS,
Right.
GT3 RS,
Yes.
right?
Which we
I
had
mean, it was
quite
a
a GT
variety.
show.
Seen it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
He,
right.
yeah, kudos to him. He did an outstanding job with that, and I talked to him after the show a
Yeah.
little bit about his theory of why he did what he did.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense, and I'm glad he did do that because it kind of pushes people. And as much as we're trying to break down the barriers, there are people that are still out there maybe attending shows, and there's nothing wrong with it, but we want to still break those barriers down where they only have a genre of car
Yeah.
that they want to see, and they could care less what's there.
Right.
The way this layout was is you wanted to walk the whole campus because you wanted to make sure you didn't miss something because you
Yeah.
didn't know where something was at, which is
Right.
a good thing.
And we
Right,
wanted everybody who had a registered car also to feel nobody felt like they were on the outskirts.
Right, right.
Everybody was in a good spot.
It is, and
Yeah.
and everybody was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really well set up, and you could tell there was a lot of thought that went into it. And I was going to mention that, and I'm glad you brought that up. Is the layout was outstanding.
The building flow, and then it also gives you, with it laid out that way, it gives the people a chance not to link up with another 964 guy if you're a 964 guy.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and then just sit
Mix
in
it
that
up.
corner
Right.
the rest of the day and just talk to them.
Yeah. You see the richness of the whole experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well, I don't think any owners are really like anchored to their cars, right?
yeah.
No.
I saw people just
No, everybody was
park
mingling.
their car and
mingling.
then go.
Out.
Yeah. It was cool.
And I
Yeah.
think it was really going back, and I know I keep saying this, praising you guys, but you deserve it. It's hard to create something from scratch, which you guys have done, and not have somebody say, "Oh, that's just like this." Like you have your
Right.
own unique thing,
Yeah.
and
I hope so.
that's hard to do
Yeah. That's
because
what
there's
we
so
tried.
many
Yeah.
things happening nowadays. People are hosting so much stuff, and they're like, "Oh, that's just like that,"
Yeah.
but it's not.
Right.
You guys are your own thing, so a big shout out to you guys being
Thanks.
able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what people want. They want uniqueness because they're like, man, that show is really cool because of XYZ.
Yeah.
Right. And we would lose that if we were on the outskirts of the city, right?
Yeah.
That's
Just go to a
what- that's
mall.
what we
Just
have
put
to
it in a mall
offer.
parking lot, right? Like,
Oh,
good to
yeah.
go. Like,
Yeah.
just pack the cars in, man. Just bring them in, thousands.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's not about volume. It really is.
it
about
is quality.
Yeah.
It is, and I love that you guys are doing that in the sense of, look, we'd love to have everybody's cars,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it just doesn't make sense
Right.
Right.
because it dilutes what's happening here.
Right.
I mean, just drive. If you're not one of the selected cars, just drive down, enjoy yourself, park on the outskirts, and like back to my LaFour experience, the overflow lot.
Mhm.
You want to see
Oh, yeah.
what's
Can
in
be
there.
just as cool.
you
Of
know?
course,
Right,
of course.
right.
And it goes back to, it's not about the cars, it's about the people. Like
Right.
you brought up earlier, and it sounds very cliche, but it really is. It's about these relationships we've built. and
Yeah.
others are building
Yeah.
that we don't even know. They're like, oh, hey, oh, you're from Wisconsin too?
Right.
I didn't even realize it. What part of Wisconsin do you live? You live 15 minutes from me.
Yeah.
You live in the town over.
Right.
I didn't even know you existed. Now those guys are maybe getting together offline and driving, and then next year they're caravanning together to come to the show.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's building those relationships. So
Yeah.
even if your car doesn't get in, that doesn't mean you can't build a relationship. There's plenty of people that flew in
No.
to the event, us included.
Right.
And we've met tons of other people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know you on Instagram. I follow you too. We actually follow each other."
Right.
And it's
Hey, let's be honest though. When you're at an event and you don't have your car, it's kind of a letdown.
I agree. No, trust me. I definitely
outside
was sad inside. I'll be
That's
totally
how
honest.
I,
Well,
you know, that's how I was at DRT, and I was like, oh, okay. So Andy and I rode along when he got his car in the trailer at the end of it. I'm like, okay, finally, like sort of in a car. almost
exactly.
belonging.
I
Exactly.
feel like I'm part of the club.
But what
You
did I
know?
say to you guys offline? I'm driving up next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Because and Adam, great point though. If you don't have your car, because I was
Yeah.
already thinking that. I'm like, and I told him I was like, I'm driving next year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what this event did to me. I was
Yeah.
like, I want to drive up next year.
Right.
And even like it's a long haul for me from Florida,
It
but it's
is.
worth it.
For sure.
Yeah.
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 I would
Hey.
recommend trailer it or have a trailer to somewhere in South Carolina,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
do South
then-
Carolina,
and
North.
then-
Yeah. Do the good stuff.
That I might
yeah.
do that
And bring-
actually.
and bring-
Transport it, drop
Right?
it at a friend's house in South Carolina, drive
Yeah.
it up,
and get the good roads.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, and bring Mr. Perbanik with you, would ya?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, we can get Mark.
We'll have to have him in tow. And
Right.
like, you know how he is. He's like to stop and like look at the trees and stuff.
Pick up the beach
I'd
glass.
be like, Mark, let's get going.
Might take you a few
yeah,
days.
it's like, Mark, let's get going. We'd probably have to leave 14 days before
Exactly.
the event to make sure we made it.
Save up your vacation, dude.
That's right. No, we'll drag up Urbanic. He loves traveling, so
Yeah,
he'll
right,
he'll
right.
make the run.
Yeah.
Right. So and
Yeah.
we'll get a good shot at him. You guys will see him again in DRT, so we'll
Yep.
make sure he's
Yeah.
going to make it. Yeah, that'll be a good ride for
Yeah.
sure. Like I think we'll from our area, since we're in our region, obviously Al will probably come and some
Right.
of his crew down in Miami.
We'll start talking them up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll,
we might be able to bring. You know
You-
how we
you could-
travel. We
yeah.
travel pretty good.
Well,
like
the
the
other
rest-
Boys travel.
The other
and
thing-
Al was talking about caravanning it up.
yeah,
with
we
a
might
bunch
be
of
able to
cars,
bring
yeah.
20, 30 cars in a caravan from Florida. That would be a sight to see on the way up.
Yeah.
The other thing is maybe we get some representation from all the peeps at Road Scholars too, because I know they're aware of us.
Yeah.
And we had the
Little
refinery
Charles.
as one of our, lower sponsors.
Mhm.
We appreciate their help regardless.
Uh-huh.
So Adam Krause and his brother
Yeah.
Tyler, and they just painted their GTLA bar that freaking one at
Yeah.
Pebble Beach, man.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely, that's
Legit.
beautiful. Yeah, we're actually really good friends with Charles, and I'll bring that up to him. I'm sure he would love to try to make it, at a minimum to represent them. So that would be a great opportunity. We can all kind of merge
Yeah.
up
and
and
hey,
have this
hey,
huge
speaking
caravan.
of Charles, in my book, he's a saint for selling that Oak Green 964 to Drew.
isn't he?
Like, is
Yeah.
that the hookup? I don't care what the price was.
Exactly.
Oh my god,
Gorgeous car, right?
Yeah. Drew's a little
Gorgeous car.
excited about
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
think so. I would be too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, what a great guy and a great car to sell. And, that's what it's about, too. And, like, Charles wanted to make sure it obviously went to another enthusiast,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
surely it did. So,
Yeah.
that kudos for him for that. And he's a great guy all around, too. And he definitely, there's no doubt in my mind that he'll probably be here next year.
Yeah.
He'll make
I mean,
he'll make the trip.
We got Rudy to come off the vacation in Wisconsin.
How
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
993. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy stops by for like 20 minutes
Yeah,
before he's got to go catch his plane out of town. It was-
exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, Rudy and the family pop in, and
Yeah.
Mr. 993.
Yep.
What an honor to have him and
Yeah.
talk and hang out, and that's
I
what
told,
it
I
does.
told him whatever he needs next year. We'll
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah.
Andy's been great storing cars for folks.
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Yeah,
He's car
twist,
storage.
twist my arm when like six kick-ass,
Yeah.
custom
Exactly.
builds come rolling into my shop. It was so funny because on Friday they showed up.
Well, no, Thursday.
the
you had-
Octoon Craft
They
guys.
showed up on Friday, but
So these guys, Thursday the Karsten's
Chicago Outlaw.
the Chicago Outlaw came in, but on Friday the Octoon Craft guys come in from Wisconsin, and they've got like 5 really great Outlaw builds. And they come rolling in a line, and my two of my
Everybody's like, "What's
technicians
happening
and one of my
here?"
service advisors, I actually got them on video. They're like, "Oh, awesome! Thumbs up!" You
Yeah,
know?
they're like, "What's
these guys see?
happening?"
These guys see the coolest cars all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So we had a
Well,
real stockpile.
It'll be a
of-
candy shop in here next
It
year.
was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
even
but-
think about that. I might actually ship my car have it here, and then just drive it down. That might be the way to do it.
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Drive it until you're tired and then have it shipped from wherever you want to stop to Tampa.
Speaking of those
Yeah.
cars from the other side of the Cheddar Curtain, as we call it, Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
Brian was a storyteller this year, talking about
Yeah.
that turbo he's got, in his Outlaw build. He was pretty good.
Yeah,
Brian's a
absolutely.
great guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was a cool thing too, that they did the storytelling like aspect of like getting
Yeah.
everybody's kind of story and popping around. I think I like that,
Mm-hmm.
that so people can see where people are coming from, what they're kind of doing, and it's about the people. That's everybody has a
Yeah.
story, and that's kind of why what we're doing. We're trying to bring people onto the show to tell their unique stories.
Yeah.
And
So-
Jenny in her 996 Turbo, talking about getting into Alabama and
Yeah.
being a JDM person, right? She
Yeah,
comes from that
exactly.
roots. You guys could,
yeah.
could relate.
Yeah,
Mike,
exactly.
and
Did you
Drew
see her
could relate.
license plate?
Yeah.
Hot sake.
Yeah. How cool is that?
It's
is
just
badass.
ridiculous. It's so badass.
Yeah. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, I want that plate. I want
Right?
to copy that. Like,
Right?
that's just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you wouldn't pull it off as good as
No,
Jenny
no,
does.
of course not. Not even close. It would.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you see that and you're just like, yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That's
and
I
then
love.
she gets out of the car and you're just
Right.
like, oh my God.
Well, people like Jenny, Pam Brundage,
Oh,
Pam
yeah.
Brundage, who drove her 356
Yeah,
from
right.
Chicago to LA for Luft.
Yeah. I met Pam at Newcomb's Ranch
Yeah.
that one morning.
I mean, how cool! And I pull up and I park with the Emery Special right next to her at Newcomb's, right?
Exactly.
She is just the coolest lady.
Yes.
I
and she
mean-
has some cool stories. I'd love to have her on
She's
the
got
show.
amazing
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
Especially with the 356, how it was in her family. They
Yep.
hunted it down. Oh, she's
Yeah.
got that build that's coming.
Yeah.
She's got the
And
one.
think about it. She's made other trips. She's had that car driven to America, which shout out to P Car Market,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
another sponsor
absolutely.
of ours. That's their baby. They were familiar with Pam, and I heard she had a little motor issue or something there,
Yeah.
and they were right there supporting her and getting her back on the road and back
Yeah.
home, man.
Well,
It's
and
awesome.
here's a great little story. So when we were out in May for Luft, Pam, she drove by herself from Chicago out there, had the 356.
Total savage.
She sends me a text early in the morning. She's like, I've got a problem with my clutch cable. And this is Friday morning
Yep.
before Rod
Luft.
Emery's going to unveil his
Exactly.
RSR at Peterson.
Yep.
So the whole Porsche community is flying all over the place.
Yeah,
all-
because everybody has builds
Right.
that live in the area.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Everybody's on the 11th hour.
Right. So I contact Sarah DeCarmen from LA Dismantler.
Uh-huh.
I tell her what Pam's issue is. She tells me contact John Esposito.
Yeah, Espo.
I
Yeah.
reach out to Esposito. He reaches out to Pam and drives down to her house and fixes her clutch cable in her
No
driveway.
way.
Yeah.
And Esposito's having an open house that afternoon.
Exactly.
So
No, he doesn't have
when you
anything.
talk about the people, in
That
this
shows you how
community,
good Esposito. He's a great guy.
he's a great guy.
His
He's a
daughter's
great guy.
awesome. She's doing a thing too
Right.
with women in Porsche. It's awesome.
So this community, it's just since getting into this industry for me back in 2014, which this was my second career.
Yeah.
I mean, my Rolodex of friends has exploded.
Yeah.
Right. So when it's my time to be put away, and there's going to be way more people hopefully raising
Yeah.
the glass to me and
Exactly.
saying, hey,
Doing some Porsche burnouts for
right.
you. Yeah, exactly.
So it's so additive.
Just
man.
make
And
sure they're not from an electric car, okay? That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Exactly.
To hell with that.
Well, I had the whole talk with Chris Kluel about the future of motoring,
Yeah.
and I don't agree with him. I told him he's got to get out to SEMA, and then tell me that he thinks
He is a
motoring's
little
going away.
He is a little doom and gloom sometimes.
he
man.
admitted. He said,
Yeah.
"I'm real doom and gloom." I'm like,
It's
I
not
don't-
that.
I don't
But that's
buy
just
it.
Chris's personality.
that
That's
right.
how he is.
Right.
He's always the storm is coming.
Right.
We're gonna
Hey.
die.
right.
And shout out to them, Chris and Jake.
Yeah.
They're our next event. We got 12 of us at
Yeah.
least going to the Overcrest.
Overcrest Rally.
That's cool.
Yep.
You
They do
know?
it. The cool thing they're doing. Yeah. We had Chris on. We missed Jake. He didn't make it, unfortunately. But we'll get him on the next one. Or
Jake
we'll
was
come
probably
visit
out
them.
on his Harley.
Yeah, probably. But like just to touch on it again, I know we've harped on it a lot, but the friendship, we use that word pretty lightly because that's described in a lot of arenas. You're like, oh, we're friends with so and so, but it's actually genuine friends. It's not just car stuff. Everybody that is Porsche friends are doing things for each other above and beyond. Even like somebody you think you're friends with, you're like, hey, bud, you want to get together and watch some football? Yeah, that's cool. You're like, hey, my car's kind of broke down. Can you come over? And you're like, call AAA, man. What's your deal? Like, don't call me. But like that story you just shared with Espo, he doesn't even know her.
Right.
He has an open house going on, and he comes over and he fixes a clutch cable for somebody that he
Right.
doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And now
Mhm.
she's always rants and raves of how great
Yeah.
they are, and he is a great guy,
Yeah.
and that just shows you the depth
Yeah.
of the friendships.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty unique. So let's transition a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Midwest Performance Cars. How did all this
The
start?
second
Because
career.
you did
So-
second
Yeah,
career.
Yeah, so I was actually a commodity trader for 25 years. I was the
Okay.
guy who yelled and screamed with a bright
Yeah.
coat and
Yeah.
So
the sexy job on the floor. It's like that guy's. It
It was a riot.
Sell.
It was one of the
All
best
those
jobs.
crazy hand signals or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a great way to spend my
the
main,
middle finger.
main life, right?
I was communicating.
But I became a customer of the shop in 2005 when I bought my first Porsche,
Okay.
Which was
88 Turbo.
Nice.
Picked it up in Denver. Went out there with my 10-year-old son and drove it back.
Cool.
Only got one speeding ticket. Doing
That's pretty
85 in
good.
Nebraska,
That's
but I had
pretty
just
good.
been doing 135, so it could have been a lot worse.
well, I-80 is brutal. All you folks
it's
who don't know,
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible.
make you
drive.
want to poke your eyes out.
But Colorado was great, and then just driving there. It was a great road trip. And so I started coming here for service, met the owner, got to know him, always thought that this place had a lot more potential,
Mm-hmm.
and found out around 2013 that it was in trouble. So I did a deal where I got control of the place in 2014, hired the old guy as a GM.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed around for a year, then moved on to still in the auto industry,
Yeah.
I believe. But so we've been growing ever since 2014.
Yeah.
Opened a second shop in 2018 up in the north suburbs where we do a lot of
Nice.
performance work and
Mhm.
add-ons, and but it's just been the networking in this industry, and I've gotten really involved in the industry,
Yeah.
like in like technician issues, training,
Yeah.
really trying to advance the
And change the
automotive
culture, right?
industry.
Change the culture, right?
Right, and that's culture's perfect because our two top things we work on here are culture and process.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get those two things, if you can get them working together right, you can create just a killer organization, right? And-
Absolutely. The magic happens then.
Right. So I was really glad. One of the things you said was when you were here on a work day on Friday, you said you were struck by how calm everything was
Yes.
on our shop floor.
Because Friday's usually the oh shit day, right?
It's the
Get
push
it
them out
get
the
it
door,
I need
right?
it.
Everybody's like, "Is my car done? What's going on?"
Right. But our guys are walking around, they're calm, there's no swearing at each other.
Exactly.
Everybody's, I think everybody here really likes coming to
Yeah.
work, and they get to work on the coolest stuff around.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And for being in the city, I mean, we're one of the last ones in the city that are really specialized in Porsche,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's just been a great experience, and the networking. I've made so many friends throughout this industry. So
Yeah.
it's really been a cool thing to get into.
I think that one of the interesting things that you and I talked about offline, I love how you did come from another area because
Yeah.
you were able to bring a different theory
Yep.
to an industry that didn't have those. I want to say not everybody. I mean, it's not fair to say everyone because there are great shops out there, but
Yeah.
they're few and far between that have the proper culture, that take care
Right,
of
right.
the technicians properly, treat them with the respect because they are craftsmen,
Absolutely.
and instead of working them like a race dog,
Right.
Instead of saying like, look, you
Right.
got another race to run,
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
rest for you.
Yeah, and then blow them out the bottom of the industry, burned
exactly,
out. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, a lot of
So-
shop owners seem to me that they're great wrenches, right? But they just don't have that business acumen.
I totally agree with that.
Right.
Totally agree with that.
And all my people can do much better and be taken care of much better if I'm not doing anything on the shop floor. If I'm working on the business,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's where everybody can be more successful.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
moving the needle where it needs to move, and you're basically letting them do what they're good at.
For sure.
Instead of micromanaging it. I mean, you can totally take it and put it in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
And say, a lot of those shops micromanage their techs.
Yeah.
Instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, you have a project, knock it out. I'll see you
Right.
when I see you.
Right.
Like empowering the people, and like I definitely got that feel, Aaron and I, when we were here, the calmness of the shop, the cleanliness of the shop, how respectful everybody was that worked here, how happy they all seemed.
Yeah.
It's you're changing the industry in the sense of with what you're doing internally, and it's nice to see.
Thanks.
And he's
Yeah.
getting new digs soon too.
Yeah,
we're
exactly. He's going to be moving to another place, which is going to be super cool. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's a really cool space.
Yeah.
So it's about a mile west of here, and then in another hot neighborhood. But
You're
not-
going to see inside baseball, we won't get too far into it. You're going to see Midwest performance cars probably start popping up all over the world, all over.
Over the globe.
Yeah.
Southwest performance.
Yeah, exactly.
cars.
It's like, this is what? You're like, that's the guy. But really, kudos to you for infusing that type of culture and being a good boss too, because taking care of your folks, and you realize if you take care of them, they're going to take care of you, and I think that's lost.
And they're going to take care of the customers.
Absolutely.
And that really comes through, because we have customers who leave reviews and they're like, I've never had an experience like this.
Yes.
Your people, they call our people out by name. And man, it's really, really gratifying to see your people do well.
Yeah, it's refreshing from us on an external standpoint to come to a place that's not just a hustle and bustle, grind them out, get them out type of place, where people are coming to a place where they know their car is going to be taken care of. And as we know, these cars, if you ever have children, they're like your children.
Yeah.
So you want somebody to care about what they're working on, and definitely have that feel at this place.
Yeah. Well, and then getting in this industry, that has enabled me to do all these things, like go to Luft, go meet Rod Emery and get a tour of his shop.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And you
Still
see
a
that,
fan.
right?
Yeah.
And you see that same kind of culture in there. I mean, everybody is just, they're working and they're happy. And Rod is a fantastic guy. I mean,
Exactly.
this guy gave me like 5 minutes of his day, the day that
the
he was
day
unveiling
yeah.
this car. The day
and they were still doing assembly.
Yeah,
like you said.
right.
Yeah.
I got a guy you should shout out to, and I know you guys love him. And speaking of my LaFour experience, Mr. Benton. Talk about
Yes,
someone who
John.
loves what they do. And
What a
that
great
guy
guy.
gave me and this knucklehead friend of mine about an hour and a half of his time the Saturday before the big event.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was, awe-inspiring.
John is such a great guy, and it just goes to we could just go down the Rolodex of names, and it just adds strength to what we've been saying about how great the friendships and the people that are in this industry, that they care about each other.
Yeah.
And it's unique.
Yeah.
It really is, and we're not just fanboying out because we are all clearly are Porsche guys.
Right.
But we are knowledgeable enough to know that other brands exist, and we also all have friends within that, and they don't have anything like this.
Right.
Within those marks.
Right. Absolutely. And there's another guy I got to call out in Newport Beach, Kevin Lynch.
Kevin
yeah.
Lynch is the
Wolfpack
man.
901.
Yeah, we love Kevin.
Wolfpack901.com.
Yeah.
Foundation that's getting young people into the air-cooled space.
Yes,
As
he's
technicians.
apprenticeship program is outstanding, and good
Yeah.
for him for kind of spearheading that and having
Yep.
a vision to want to do that. And we've touched on it, and Kevin's such a great supporter of the show, and we can't say enough great things about Kevin. He's such a good person, a good-hearted person, and wants to really just give back to the community and the world.
Yeah.
Well, the
So-
funny thing is, too, so we're hanging at Benton's, and John makes a call to Kevin. And I didn't know who Kevin was.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he was hosting at his house. Like,
Yeah.
you guys were there this
Yeah,
past year.
exactly.
And he sent us 2 goofballs over there, and he's got this nice spread, and we're meeting everybody. And, yeah, I call him the host with the most, man. 'Cause that was
He
great,
is.
right?
Yeah, such a good setup, right?
Yeah,
And such an accommodating host, and he knows people are in from out of town, and such a cool thing, and that's what it's about, man.
Yeah.
And we just love doing stuff like this, and love showcasing good things and good-hearted stuff, and you guys are giving back to the community, and it's just good karma. It's just good energy, and it's just such feel-good stuff, you know.
We both heard this yesterday at the show. Just what a great vibe there was around the show.
It was
right.
such a good vibe.
Yeah,
Everybody was super chill. Everybody's super happy. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no room for douchebaggery.
No. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Well put.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. On that note. Yeah.
just invite you to leave.
But yeah, anything else that you guys want to showcase before we part ways, or?
Well, we should just give a final shout out to the board. So it's me, Andy,
Yeah.
Alex Block. You've seen his 914 that he chased down. It was his father's car, and his
Yeah.
father sold it, and then his father, he lost his father.
Yeah.
Tremendous story. Jack Schroeder shot it for Type 7 magazine about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on the board. Nate Greedy, who
Nice.
was the MC, the 6'7" guy. You
Yo.
can't
Yeah.
miss
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And his black
Yeah.
GTS, excuse
GTS,
me.
Yeah.
So of course John Westra, creator of the story segment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mr. Kubrick, who we mentioned, our
Yeah.
architect.
Absolutely.
There's one, Dan is a wild man, and one thing I want to mention to you guys, you don't really realize this. His air-cooled motor is in pieces in his dining room in his condo blocks away from here.
Wow. That's super cool.
you
That's
know?
living the brand.
But
That
the thing
is.
is, like, dude,
Exactly.
Dan,
That's super cool.
Dan, get the work done.
Yeah. Get it done.
He's driving the hell out of that Boxster he bought, but he wants, he loves his, forget his SC or 3.2, but he loves the damn thing. So
Nice.
we need to have that back on the road next year.
Love that passion.
We're
though.
calling him out, right?
Right?
We're calling him
Yeah.
out. Get it
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
man. You got the winter.
Love that passion. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be freezing, so fix that thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, awesome. But want to say another thank you guys, you and your entire staff, everybody was involved, all the sponsors. What a great event! What a great location! What a great city! And what a great opportunity, charity-wise, to almost essentially not officially a charity, but to give back to the community. With the books for the kids, everything well thought out. It's so many good pillars involved in this
Yep,
thing,
the
and we just want to
layers.
say
And-
thank you guys so
yeah.
much for putting this on.
With
Yeah,
that
what-
said, Claudia, Carson's widow, is going to be heading our charitable efforts next year. So she already has
Oh, that's
the,
Outstanding.
charity
That's
lined
cool.
up.
Yeah,
so.
great. I'm glad she's going to be involved in that.
Nice,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Very, very nice.
Well, and thanks a lot to you guys for coming out.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For supporting the show.
Of course.
For giving us more publicity.
Of
and
course.
for coming here and doing
We
the
love you
pod.
guys. You guys
Yeah.
are our brothers, man.
That's
We
good.
love you guys,
Yeah.
man. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of PCAR Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at PCAR Talk or online at pcardtalk.com.